All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out here today or listening. This is super exciting to be here at the University Club inside Lane Stadium here on the 4th floor with Coach Beamer. We're blown away by the space and this utilization of the President's Box. And I think it's safe to say, and everyone can agree, Virginia Tech really needed a space like this. It's incredible. Want to shout out to Michael Bordens for helping us out here. You know, we had a pretty tight runway of getting this event set up, and appreciate all the hard work by the staff here at the University Club to get this done before the season started. And hoping that this is the first of many events here at the University Club. Also want to extend a special thanks to John Boleyn, actually one of my former professors, Dr. John Boleyn, for helping coordinate this interview with Coach. So we want to set the table for you all here with some introductions. Billy Ray, kick us off.
Pat, you always do a great job with the introductions. Thank you. My name is Billy Ray Mitchell. I was lucky enough to have been recruited to Virginia Tech under Coach Beamer's tenure, and I graduated in 2018.
And my name is Pat Finn, and I'm a lifelong Hokie graduate of the class of 2017. My Coach Beamer fun fact is that my dad's junior year was Coach's first year, and my junior year was Coach's last year.
I liked your junior year better than your dad. That first one wasn't so good.
No, it wasn't. So this Friday, we kick off against Old Dominion, and that's going to mark the start of the Sons of Saturday's 4th season here as a podcast. Our mission is to help enhance the Virginia Tech community with the foundation on Hokie athletics, and we could not be more excited to roll into football season. But today, we're even more excited to welcome in a Virginia Tech legend in our first ever. Whoops, I dropped my papers.
We told you this was the first time.
We didn't have a dress rehearsal. Hang on. All right. We want to extend a welcome to Virginia Tech legend, Coach Beamer. We could run through the accolades and accomplishments all afternoon, so we'll just list a few here. He played cornerback at Tech and graduated in 1969. He led the Hokies as head coach for 29 seasons. He won 3 Big East and 4 ACC championships and won several Coach of the Year awards after the 1999 season. And finally, he was elected into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2018. You may have heard of him. Coach Frank Beamer, welcome to the Sons of Saturday.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here. Anytime we can come and talk about Virginia Tech football, we're all in.
Awesome. Well, Coach, here's
Proud of this guy right here, too.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah,
Thank you. Wouldn't be
sure.
here without you. Here's the game plan. We're going to break this interview down into a couple of segments. First, we want to talk about your life and retirement. Then we will discuss your time at Virginia Tech. And after that, we would love to hear about your thoughts on the 2022 season. And we will finish some things up with rapid-fire questions. Rapid fire is always fun. And then we have some questions and sentiments submitted by former players from multiple decades. Okay. So, Coach, are you ready to go, man, go?
I am.
Okay.
Go, man, go is
Awesome.
right.
Pat, kick it off with the retirement segment.
All right. So, Coach, we're going to give you a softball here.
All right.
What have you been up to this summer?
Well, we've been on Interstate 77 most of the summer. My daughter lives in Charlotte. My son, Shane's down in Columbia, South Carolina. So they call her Baba, my wife. Mm-hmm. She's happy when she's around her grandkids. I want her happy. So we're down 77, even going to Charlotte or Columbia. And then a few miles on down, we have a lake house down in Georgia. And so 77's been our main route this summer.
You know, I live right off 77 in Charlotte, so, you're going to have to come by.
Yeah.
But, Coach, got to ask, how is the golf game? How's it coming along? Has it been a productive summer on the course?
Well, I need to play more. It's funny, when I was coaching and away a lot, and I'd go play golf, my wife, Cheryl, would say, well, you've been in the won't all this time. Won't we go out to dinner or something? Why you want to go play golf? Now, it's like, don't you want to go play golf, get you out of the house and leave me alone here? But I've had a little back issue, and I'm trying to get it well, and we're about to do that. So I'm gonna get out there and play more golf. I haven't played very much.
So you were telling me that you played a good bit at the river course, and I need to get out there and play any golf.
Mm-hmm.
But I find myself getting in these weird situations where Pat, who's an avid golfer, and Bryce, who's an avid golfer, a lot of the times they're saying, "Hey, let's go down to the course," and I can't say no. But I actually shot probably over a 200 at the river course. Lost plenty of golf balls, but that has been my golf career here. But looking to get better for sure.
So, Coach, you mentioned that you've been seeing Shane in Columbia, and we love to see what Shane's doing down there at South Carolina. It's been a joy to be able to watch from afar here. And I was able to go down there last November for the Florida game, and we saw a fantastic win by South Carolina. Our very own Jason Brown led the Gamecocks to victory there. How has it been for you to have a front row seat, being able to see Shane climb the ladder and now have some success in a conference like the SEC?
It's been fantastic. I think he was really well prepared. He's been with some great coaches. You think about the places he's been: Tennessee and Georgia Tech, and then to South Carolina, Georgia. And he's been around a lot of really good coaches: Lincoln Riley, Kirby Smart. You can kind of go on, and I think he knew exactly. And he had it all planned. He's a guy. He's always taking notes and listening, but I think he had it very well planned out what he wanted to do and how he wanted to do it when his opportunity to become a head coach came around. And I've been, so very proud of him. I mean, he's done such a fantastic job. I think he runs the program the way he wants to, and I think it's very efficient. And just so proud of him.
Now, where would you say that you and Shane are different as far as your coaching styles and your approach to the profession?
Well, I think one thing, he's very much celebrate with the players. I was kind of like, I didn't want to. I wanted the players to always think I had things under control, whether I did or not. So I wasn't quite as much out there, but I think it's a very honest, celebrate, proud to be with you kind of atmosphere. And his players, they play hard. Mm-hmm. And when you go to the game, there's not a lot of crazy plays. I mean, things are happening that should happen, and they're not fumbling or throwing interceptions or getting a lot of penalties, things that, really, things that kind of show he's really doing a good job, he and his staff, of coaching those players. So, can't wait to see him again here. I'm glad football season's here, and we're ready to go.
We got one last question here about retirement before we jump into your coaching career. Have you picked up any new hobbies in retirement?
No, I make a lot less decisions now. I get up in the morning, decide if I'm going to watch Ellen today or not, and then after that, my calendar's clear. I'm done. That's the only decision of the day. I do have to decide what restaurant I'm going to try to go have lunch at or breakfast or whatever. But no, or whether we're coming here for breakfast. But everything's going well.
Now, Coach, let's talk a little bit about your coaching career here. And this is something we usually ask recruits. We usually ask players when someone comes in and they're a wrestler. We ask them how wrestling transmits to playing offensive line. If they're a basketball player, how does basketball translate to being a wide receiver? But we wanted to ask you about a transferable skill here. Something taken from a different area, applied elsewhere with great success. I have been doing some reading this summer, and I did finally get around to reading your book. And I read about your stint teaching at Radford High School. So I'm curious, what lessons, styles, or habits did you take from your time teaching, and how did you apply that to coaching?
I taught math at Radford High School, and they had an opening as a coach, and I was with a couple really good guys there, and learned a lot from them. But I think being prepared, I think whatever you're talking, whether it's in the classroom or practice, to be very well organized, planned out, being prepared for the situation. That's really important. And the thing is, when you're dealing with young people, they know right away if you're not prepared. If you're hemming and hawing and trying to figure out what you're going to do next, it doesn't take long for them to know that. So I think that's probably the one thing I'd say is know exactly what you're going to do and how you're going to do it.
Now, building a program starts with two very important things that ultimately is on the head coach to manage. Who is calling the plays and who the hell is going to run the plays? And for the first part, I want to ask you, on the player side, I ask every coach that I have the opportunity to speak with, when you're looking at prospective student athletes, aside from talent, aside from their speed, aside from their strength, what were some of the qualities, features, and traits that you felt were the best fit for Virginia Tech when you were recruiting?
We always would go. I'd always go around the school and talk to one or two of their teachers and get opinions there. What kind of kid are we? We wanted to get a character kid, because in the end, I can tell you, winning's just a lot more fun when you've got good character guys playing for you. And you got a lot less problems to deal with and so forth. So, one of the first things, when we come back and talk about a prospect, so-and-so had a prospect. Okay, what kind of character, what kind of guy we're getting here? And so we studied that a lot, talked to different people around the school that would tell us that part of it. And then if the character matched up with the skill and the work, you want a guy that wanted to work. When our recruiting classes weren't always rated the highest, but then we come back and won some championships and bowl games and so forth. So I always thought that went back to developing players and and they end up and a lot of guys going on to pro football. So they started out, they might not have been really highly recruited, but they developed and now they're playing in NFL or had a good graduated and ended up good.
So now let's talk about the coaches, and you can't stress enough how unique this is. So you go down the line here, and there's some incredible coaches on this list, but in a sport with so much movement and change, a lot of these coaches decide to stay in Blacksburg and build something special. You look at Coach Foster, 1987 to 2019. Coach Gray, 2006 to 2015. Billy Height, 78 to 2014. Coach Wiles, 96 to 19. And Brian Steinspring, 1990 to 2015. After all these coaches arrived and showed success, what was it not only about Virginia Tech, the place, we all know how special Blacksburg is, but the culture here that led them to want to stay here? Because without a doubt, all of those names, we had a lot of interest at different places, and they all decided to stay here and build something.
I take great pride in that. I always, in this profession, some coaches coach and out of fear. The players are a little bit afraid. The coaching staff's a little bit afraid. I never wanted that. I wanted a coach to come here and feel good about being here. And I always thought when they felt good, they worked hard. They wanted to please you. They wanted to do a great job. And I'd much rather have that atmosphere, that they look forward to coming to work, as opposed to walking in the door a little scared of what's going to happen today.
And how has it been to watch the successes of some of these coaches as they went on and went to different schools? You're seeing Coach Brown build a program. I believe he's down in Texas. You're seeing Coach Gray at South Carolina with Shane. How much have you kept up with them, and what has that meant to you to see them continue their career in coaching?
Quite a bit. Really proud of a lot of them. Again, watching Cornell, he kind of changed the program here. I mean, he was the first major recruit to Virginia Tech, a guy that could have gone anywhere in the country, and he came here. And I think I'd give him credit for really getting this program going. And, a guy like him, in-state, had so much going for him, and he came to Virginia Tech. So, all those guys, Torian Gray, I mean, he was such a smart player. He's tough, but played smart. And now he's in the coaching business, and you kind of go on and on. Coach Steinspring did a great job, one of our great recruiters here at Virginia Tech. And so just really fortunate to have had a lot of good assistant coaches. And if they're good, you want to keep them. And you don't want to be replacing a guy every year or every 2 years or every 3 years. So anytime you replace a guy, there's an adjustment for them and for us. There's an adjustment period. So I had good coaches, and I wanted to keep them around.
I know you heard it, Pat. We always get fired up. Did you hear we had a program reference here in the podcast? So excited about that. Go ahead, Pat.
So, Coach, you believed it could happen, and obviously you worked really hard to make it happen. But when did you know that? When did you know that when you were building up this program? When did you know that it was working? That you and your staff were on the way to having success that you ultimately did? Was there a certain game, a specific moment that stood out to you along the way where you were just like, yeah, we're doing this thing?
Yeah. I think it probably gets back more to people than a game, because if you got good people, the games will come, the wins will come. But we got my 6th year, we were 2-8-1. Thank goodness Dave Brain was our athletic director, because I think he saw that we were doing it the right way. We were graduating our players, he'd come around every Sunday and sit there and watch and talk over what happened on Saturday. And he gave us an opportunity to stay. Not many coaches stay. If you're 2-8-1 in your 6th year, not many people are there for the 7th year. So, but they stayed with us. And finally, in '93, we did get it turned, and then went to a bunch of straight bowl games. And so, there's a lot of people involved. You had to have players. But I always said our fans helped us win around here. I mean, the way they cheered, the way they jumping when you come in the stadium, the atmosphere, the tailgating. I mean, they were a part of us, and it was just so much fun to watch a program go from 2-8-1 to the Sugar Bowl and the Orange Bowl and the Gator Bowl and to the national championship game.
So, Coach, after the April 16th tragedy, the football team was really instrumental in bringing together this community that had been through a really long spring and a really long summer of mourning. Now, how important was that first game against East Carolina to you and the staff and the players in 2007? And what did you say to the team, before coming out of the tunnel?
Well, when we came out and to see this place jumping and the school, the students, the professors, the alumni, we all just needed something to rally around and be together and say, hey, we're not going to let this one sick individual define who Virginia Tech is. We're going to define and show the nation who Virginia Tech is. And I think that game, everyone saw really what Virginia Tech was all about and how together we were. And so, it's just good to get back out there on the football field.
Coach, you retired from Virginia Tech in 2015. As we said in the beginning, you won multiple Coach of the Year awards. You had 280 lifetime wins and an election to the College Football Hall of Fame. When somebody is telling the story of Coach Frank Beamer and their legacy, what would you want that story to sound like? Or what do you hope that story sounds like?
He did it the right way. They had a good relationship with the players, treated them right, was fair, had their interest at heart, had what was best for them is what we're going to do. To me, again, it kind of gets back to people, coaches, players, your relationships. And if they are strong, a lot of this other stuff takes care of itself. You know, how you play on Saturday, and, you know, when you get down to the goal line and you're on the 2-yard line, and if you do it the right way, you got a better chance if you're on offense getting it in. If you're on defense, you got a better chance of keeping them out. And so much of our program was built on relationships and keeping those things strong. I always told our coaches, I said, you know, they got to know, our players have got to know they can trust us, that we care about them. Because when you get in a problem or when you have an issue, and in my business, this business, losing a game was an issue. And I said, the only people who can get you out of that situation, that troubled spot, are those players. I mean, we got to coach them up, but they got to go back and play better. So they're going to play better if they know you care about them. So, you know, and you know, in this business, you're going to probably have a loss every once in a while. So those players better care about you when you do.
So, Coach, we're going to look ahead into the 2022 season here with Coach Pry. Want to chat about Coach Pry, want to talk about this upcoming campaign. But before we do that, we're actually going to jump in the time machine and talk about the late 1990s. What were your impressions of Coach Pry back in the 90s when he was a spring chicken coaching at Virginia Tech?
I thought just what I think now, I thought he was a very smart guy. Loved football, came from a football background, that had a lot of common sense. I think football coaching is a lot of common sense, and I think we got a really good one. I think he's going to do a great job. I can't wait to see him get started here, and he's done so many things right already out in the community, and you know, and you know, our fans want, you know, they want to help you win, like I said a while ago, and I think he's done a good job getting himself out there, and I know our fans are behind him, our alumni are behind him, our students are behind him, and so I can't wait to watch him get going.
Coach, I think most of the room here and our listeners would say that you, Coach Young, Coach Pryor, all kind of cut from the same cloth with the fun sayings and the good energy. That's what I'm looking forward to out of this staff, among a lot of other things. What would you say that you're looking forward to seeing out of this staff?
Well, I told John Boleyn, he and Witt have done, I think, a great job of hiring coaches. You think about it, and not only you go through a lot of the other sports that are, you know, really doing well, but Coach Young, what a great hire that was, and Coach Pry and so forth. But anyhow, I think they've done a good job. So what was the question again?
I said, what are you looking forward to most out of this staff this year and for the future?
Yeah, I think again, what I was saying, clean playing football, not a lot of penalties, you know, not discipline within the football program, playing hard, you know, giving great effort, and I think that's exactly what we're going to see.
Coach, the lunch pail is back this year. What does that mean to you?
Well, Bud Foster meant a lot to me, and of course Brent was here with him, and but anyhow, what I think he did. What he did better than any coordinator in the country. I mean, he just had it the right way. And then I think that lunch pail was a symbol, hard work. You know, we're going to go work hard today. And Bud made it all work. Sure did.
So, Coach, we're going to have some fun. We're going to run into rapid fire here. Now, don't get it twisted.
Well, this brain doesn't work as fast as it used to.
That was what I was going to say. It doesn't have to be rapid. We can take as much time as we want.
If I start stuttering, slow down, will you?
I gotcha. So the first question comes from Mike Santamaria, who I know you spent a lot of time from, and he actually asked Mehul Sangani this question, and I loved it, so I wanted to ask you. In your career, you have a lot of decisions to make. So what was the best yes that you gave in your career, and what was the best thing that you turned down? What was your best no in your career?
Ooh, best yes. Well, it didn't take me long, but when they offered me the job, I said yes right away. I didn't want to give them time to change their mind, so that was probably my best yes. The no that I regret, because I gave my word to North Carolina that I was coming there, and then in the end, I couldn't go. I couldn't leave Virginia Tech. So that's the one that I always took great pride in, that if I told you something, it was going to happen. And I thought it was going to happen, but when it came time to go, I couldn't leave Tech. And so that's the one I regret the most.
Well, I got to say, I think everybody in this small room and in the bigger room out back is very, very glad that you did say no. So I see a lot of nodding heads out there. I like this one. What's your favorite Virginia Tech memory that does not involve football?
Sugar Bowl '95 beat Texas.
Right.
I think that's the game that kind of got us at another level. A major appointment and a major Sugar Bowl, and to win, I think people started thinking of us a little bit different. I think playing for the national championship, and I was going after that game. I was going out to a convention somewhere, and everyone was talking about Michael Vick, and I mean, what a performance he put on that night. So, my regret on that game is that I think we were really good enough to beat them straight up. I think I let Bobby Bowden's teams all in the 90s kind of affect my thinking, like we need to do something special to beat these guys. So we faked a punt, didn't make it, so now they lose field position, faked a field goal, didn't make it, and lost field position. And if I had to do it over again, I think we were straight up good enough to win that football game. So I'd do that one different.
Coach gave us a bonus answer. What is your favorite non-football football memory at Virginia Tech?
I think, y'all said it, we talked about it a while ago, but how we reacted to a sick individual on our campus, and how we came together and had each other's back and showed respect for each other. I think I'll never forget it. They asked me to come down to the room where the parents of the people that had been shot were all gathered, and asked me to say a few words to them. And I came in through the door was on the side, and I walked up to the front of the room, and I'll never forget when I turned around and looked into the eyes of those parents, and I'll never forget that feeling right there. And that's one that I still remember to this day. And I told them, we're not going to forget your kids. We're going to always remember them here, and I think we've done a good job of that. But and I'm proud of the way we've hung in there. And I think we were a together university. I got your back, care for each other university. But I think after that day, we became more of that and more respect for each other. So I remember that.
So I know this was a little bit of a change for you here. And it doesn't have to be Virginia Tech. But what is your favorite football game that you have attended as a fan? Not having to make any decisions, to sit back, enjoy a cold beer, maybe some popcorn. What was your favorite game that you've attended as a fan?
Well, I love going to my son's games now. I really enjoy watching him operate and how well he's doing. Really enjoy that. Enjoyed going to my daughter's basketball game. She's a pretty good little basketball player. Enjoyed watching them going there. That was always fun. And I always claimed that I taught her how to shoot, but I didn't. She kind of developed it on her own. So I think that's kind of got it.
What is some of your favorite music to listen to? What is Coach Beamer listening to? I know you're not listening on your walks. You're talking with Mr. Berlin, but when you have a moment, what is some of the music that you're tapping into?
I'm a country music guy.
Okay.
And and I go back to Shania Twain.
Okay.
And that's kind of my style right there.
What's your favorite Shania Twain song?
I've kind of gone blank on. If you named a couple, I'd tell you whether they're there or not.
Go ahead, Pat.
Coach, I remember when reading Let Me Be Frank, you're talking about, I don't know what year it was, but you're listening to like sports radio in the car, and they're talking about Virginia Tech, and I don't know, like they were questioning a decision or something, and then you ask your wife, hey, change the channel, and and you said, then she changed it to 94.9 Star Country, and you said, much better.
Yeah.
that line has always stuck with me whenever I put on 94.9 Star Country.
Yeah, absolutely. Terrell, she's really vital. You talk about it. Shane's got a great wife in Emily. In the coaching business, you need a great wife, and I had one in Cheryl, and she really got involved and so forth. And so she was listening to the radio. I'd come home after a game, and people on the radio was wanting me to play another quarterback or something. And so her question, why did you stay with quarterback so and so? And I said, Cheryl, if I'd want to answer that question, I would have brought it out earlier. I don't really need to come home and hear the same thing that the people out there said. Let's change the subject.
Coach, what about your favorite movie or TV show? I know you said you frequent Ellen. What about a movie or a TV show?
I kind of watch Cheers.
Okay.
You remember that one?
Yeah, I was just over by the Cheers bar in Boston a couple days ago. Yeah.
Friends.
Yep.
The reruns, you can't beat those.
Nope.
And I'm kind of into that. I sit there and watch shows for, they run one after the other. So I watch about 2 hours worth of them every day.
Here's a question I'm excited to ask you. Coach, I know you were a big black cleats, white sneakers, just typical, awesome uniform. But I have to ask you, the couple of times that we did do something different with the uniforms, the couple of times we did shake it up, do you have a specific uniform that is your favorite?
Well, when we, back then I let the captains choose what uniform. So I got to where I thought that was a bad idea because I think we were spending more time figuring out what uniform we're going to wear as opposed to how we're going to beat this team we're getting ready to play. But I know this, when we came out in all orange and got hammered, we never wore all orange again. We were done with that one. I knew that one.
I'm glad we had some better luck last year with the all orange.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Go ahead, Pat.
Coach, what is your favorite cookout milkshake?
That one's easy. Well, there's two, but chocolate. I'm kind of a big chocolate guy. And then banana nut would be my second favorite.
Banana nut.
Usually have one of those about every day.
Yep. We see you in the basketball stadium, yo. I think he's the only gentleman in Blacksburg allowed to bring outside food into Castle Coliseum. You're always rocking that milkshake.
You got to know somebody.
That's true. Yeah. Well, this guy knows everybody, so.
Coach, how is Hank Beamer doing, and where is his favorite place to go on a walk?
Okay, Hank, back when I was on the coaching deal, I was leaving every weekend. I got to tell you this first. When I decided to go, I was going to get a puppy. Cheryl, we had one back. Casey wanted a puppy when she was coming through high school. It ended up Cheryl took care of that puppy every day, walking and so forth. So when I brought up this thought about getting another puppy, Cheryl said, well, you're taking care of it now. If you get it, you're taking care of it. I've already took care of one dog. So, and sure enough, she stayed with her word. I had to take care of it. So now I'm on the committee, so I'm going to Dallas every Monday. I got to be there Monday afternoon. and then we'd come back home either Tuesday night. So then I was having to find where Hank was going to stay because Cheryl wasn't going to take care of the dog now. She'd already told me. So now I had to figure out where Hank was going to stay. And then it's starting to cost me a fortune. and so then I found some people in the neighborhood that's great parents for Hank. They gave me visitation rights. I can still go visit. And he's right at the front of our neighborhood. So Hank's got him a great home. They have a couple of little girls, and they take great care of him.
What and where was the best round of golf you have ever played?
Ooh.
Pat loves the golf questions now.
Yeah.
Getting a lot of golf.
Oh. I think seemed like I shot maybe 89 or something at Augusta one time. Don't make me put that down in writing. I might have made that up. But I enjoyed that. And to play there with all the history and pine trees and the green trees and then the white sand. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Pebble Beach is not bad. I enjoyed going out there with some people and playing out there a few times. So, I could usually keep the ball in the fairway. I didn't hit it very far, but I usually could hit it fairly straight. So I usually get around there, and I think my handicap 16, 17, 18, somewhere in there.
If you're going to break 90, Augusta National,
Yeah.
not a bad place to do that.
No. Well, again, it wasn't the game at Augusta's when the ball gets to the green. And then if you get above a hole, you're in trouble. And then all the holes, you got all those big breaks in them. And so the game at Augusta really gets down to putting. And, you can usually get to the holes. Now, can you get it in the hole? And so that was a problem there.
Yeah. So you've played a lot of golf. Last golf question, I promise. Who would be your dream foursome on the course?
Ooh.
Whether that's someone you've played with in the past that you love to play with again, or someone you've always wanted to play with.
Or open it up. Go all time. Somebody from any time in the course of history you could tee it up with.
I think the people I would play with would be John Boleyn, Greg Roberts, and Greg Roberts and John, and then my friend Street, Whalen Overstreet. And we go to Myrtle Beach and play and have a lot of fun. So I'd probably just go right back there and have fun and enjoy their company. And Street and I were partners, and we beat them most of the time. So
you getting Bruce to drive the cart?
Yeah. Bruce can drive the cart for us, and Bruce would be. If I know Bruce, he'd be there right with us, hitting shots.
And talking a whole lot of smack.
Yeah, talking smack.
Last one from Rapid Fire here. What was your favorite win over the University of Virginia?
How many years did we beat them in a row?
A whole lot.
I think a lot of people out
11?
here lost count.
11 or 12? 15?
15. Oh, whoa.
Better than I thought. Take any one of those 15, and that's the best one right there. Any one of them.
Coach, we did some outreach here. Pat and I are both in sales, so we do a lot of outreach, banging the phones. And we wanted to reach out to some former players and either have them share a sentiment or share a question. And here they are. So Shane Graham, this was his share. So one of my favorite things about Coach was on the day of games, we did a thing where we all took a walk down to the team hotel. Coach would walk with the specialists, and we would talk football, life, school, whatever.
Yeah.
I always look back on that and how special it was to have that relationship that most never get to have with their head coach. From the first phone call when he was recruiting me to the last time I saw him on the field for the Florida game versus his son's team, South Carolina.
Yeah.
I always felt like he truly cared about his players and former players. The person he is makes him the coach that he was, detail and passion.
Yeah, Shane, what a great player. And how about his field goal at West Virginia to win up there, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And no, he's special. You know, he was a special kicker, a special person. And he did, on the Saturday morning, if we had a night game, coaches would come down and take their group for a little walk just to get them out of the hotel and get, stretch their legs a little bit. And I went with a specialist. That was my group. Mm-hmm. And so we had a good time walking around Hotel Roanoke and visiting with each other. And I always enjoyed that quite a bit. I mean, those guys, they'd have some stories they need to tell too.
Coach, I contemplated talking about this, and I'm not sure if you remember this, but personally, this was the moment that had the biggest impact on me. So I know you said you watched some reruns. I'm not sure if you watch a lot of reruns of the Jersey Shore, but you got a lot of people who are into themselves and calling attention to themselves. And when I came to Virginia Tech, I had this pair of SpongeBob pajama pants and I had pink headphones, and I'd wear them all the time. And there was one time when we were on the elevator, and you looked at me, and your message wasn't, why do you do that? You're running for that, or making a big scene in a bunch of people. It was just me and you in an elevator, and you looked over to me, and essentially you told me that you can't control how other people are going to view what you decide to do, but it ultimately impacts how other people view you. And that's stuck with me for such a long time, because I never knew it, but a lot of times I'd step into a room, and without trying to be that way, I'd try to be the loudest or the most ironical or anything else. And seriously, that was the one thing that really stuck with me. But I appreciated the way that you conveyed the message. And I think back to how I talk to my brother when he does something that drives me crazy. And if I would yell at my brother, or I would tell him, why do you do this? Why do you do that? Go do this. He ain't never going to do any of that. But if you sit down and you talk to him and you level with him, it has an impact. So I appreciate that about you, and that really helped me become a man here at Virginia Tech.
Thank you. You turned out well.
I like to think it worked out okay.
Yes, a lot of times I think kids get acting, do things, and then if you have time to think about it or talk about it, give them a reason to change, they will.
No doubt.
They will.
So this one comes from Dwight Vick. And his question is, if you were able to keep Marcus Vick with the talented team that you had coming back, do you feel like you would have won a national championship with that team?
We were close, when Michael came through here. Every high school, I would go into, somebody say, hey, I got the next Michael Vick. And I'm thinking, the coach at that school, and I'm thinking in my head, no, you don't. you don't have. The closest thing to Michael Vick was Marcus Vick, and Tyrod Taylor. I might throw him in there, but it's a shame, but we had to do what was best for everyone concerned, and so. But Marcus was a real talent himself.
And he also asked, so much is made about Michael Vick and Kevin Jones being impact, game-changing recruits for Virginia Tech. They absolutely were. Mm-hmm. But he asks, what was the importance of signing quarterback Maurice DeShazo and Cornell Brown? You mentioned him earlier for the program. Yeah, that was big too. Maurice was quite a player in the state. And for him coming to Virginia Tech, getting in there, talked about Cornell, but then you get a Maurice DeSaggio coming, and Cornell, or some other guys there that I couldn't mention, but that gets to be people get thinking about that. Future prospects get thinking about that. Well, if the best players in the state of Virginia are going to Virginia Tech or considering Virginia Tech, maybe I ought to do that too. So it all worked together. This one comes from Sam Rogers. Oh. So he says, when I think of Coach Beamer. Sam Rogers, one of my favorite all-time players. You're talking about a guy that ever played, whether it's practice, game, pregame, pre-practice. He was always full speed. Absolutely. Always full speed. Go ahead. He says, when I think of Coach Beamer, I think of family. What were some of the keys? What do you think that contributed to building a family-like atmosphere through the football program? And when was the first moment that you realized you had a connected team? So each year when you were getting ready, you were in camp, you noticed, hey, this team's got a shot. Yeah, I think, again, if players respect each other, it shows pretty quickly. If players care about each other, it shows pretty quickly.
every time we would break a huddle, it got to be where one player would usually say something. And I got to the point where sometimes I got a player and I'd be standing back behind the huddle there, and I said, I don't really want him talking to the football team. So then when we started to break the huddle, I'd call so-and-so, break the huddle for us, call the people that I thought the football team needed to hear from, and the people that I knew that would pay attention to what they were saying. I bet you broke that huddle several times.
I always thought it was weird. You'd call somebody else out and be like, oh, is this going to be, I need to know where to go on power, and I also might have to break the huddle. So, yes, I do remember you doing that. I didn't know there was a method to the madness there.
Oh, there was.
We're going to close it out with our good friend that we've gotten to become close with this year, Davon Morgan.
Okay, Davon.
Davon says, ask Coach Beamer how he felt during the ACC championship game after getting knocked in the head by Corey Holt.
Dizzy. Yeah, that actually happened too. That was seemed like I always thought as a player I had very quick feet. I could move pretty good, but as a coach, I must have slowed down quite a bit. I'd getting hit in the head and getting hit from the side and all that. So feet weren't very quick.
Coach, we see you're wearing a ring here today.
Yeah.
Which ring is your all-time favorite ring, other than your wedding ring? Because I know that might be the answer.
Good job.
This is I've got all my rings, bowl rings, and all the rings that we accumulated here in a display at home.
It's a big display.
It is a big display, and I've got written out what it's for. So it's very well done. But this is my Hall of Fame ring, Football College Hall of Fame, and so honored to go into that. And so I like it's a pretty ring, and it kind of means a lot to me. So this is the one I usually wear, and but the other rings are there at home.
Last question from Davon. He says, how did he come up with his quotes? The one that comes to mind is play with intelligent recklessness. And Dwight Vick has talked about that too. Yeah. Davon says he still uses that today.
Yeah.
Where did that one come from?
Coaching down at Florida A&M right now. Just opened it up at week 0, coaching the safeties.
Yeah.
Morgan, yep.
Yeah. I'm not sure where that intelligent recklessness. You wanted your team to play hard. You wanted to fly around, but you didn't want to be hitting people out of bounds or hitting late or clipping a guy right in the back. Play hard, but be intelligent about how you play. And it always made perfect sense to me.
I got one question before we close this thing out. Davon Morgan is definitely one of the funnier individuals that I have had the pleasure of meeting doing this podcast. So I want to ask you, who are some of the funniest and most impactful players that you've had? With the assumption that all of them were impactful, but who are some that stand out?
Yeah. Oh, man. That goes back to a lot of guys, too. I think I agree with you on Davon. I mean, he could make you laugh. And I enjoyed all of them, though. I mean, really, I always made sure I got in the home to see if a kid said he's coming to Virginia Tech. I always made sure I was in the home either before or after, so I could sit down and talk to the family. And then if that kid had an issue here and I needed to talk to the family about it, I knew who I was talking to. And you find out a lot about a kid when you sit there with his mom and dad or mom or maybe a one-parent family or whatever. But you find out a lot about how that kid is around his mom, how respectful he is, or his dad. I mean, you kind of find out a lot about kids. And like I told you earlier, I wouldn't know as much about him character-wise as once we said, hey, he's good enough to play at Tech and beat the people we got to beat. But then I want to know what kind of character guy we got. And you find that out a lot by visiting in that home.
Coach, this has been an honor, a blessing, just a ton of fun for you to join us here this afternoon. Our last question for you before closing is, what is your message to Hokie Nation?
Oh, my message is keep on doing what you're doing because no one does it better. You know, I attended my son's game at South Carolina, and they got those white towels that everybody in the stadium's got their white towel, and that's going all the way around. And then I came here for a game either the night before or the night after. I forget how it worked out. And our guys are jumping, as we, and so I don't think I could go to two stadiums more into it that are better atmospheres than those two right there. But, right here, I mean, the way our fans get into it, the way they put their heart and soul into it, no one does it better.
Coach, I can't thank you enough. You've had a profound impact on me. You've had a profound impact on so many people. I love you. We love you. And thank you so much for the time. Can't thank you enough.
Love you guys. There you go.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. That's fantastic.